30 years ago, I visited my eldest sister Shirley and her family in Britain. I traveled from the hot and tropical Caribbean island of St. Vincent, my country of birth, and flew from Barbados non-stop all the way to London. Despite what I knew about the climate in Europe, I was up for a rude awakening, as it was cold when I arrived in Britain. It was during the heart of the autumn or fall season of 1992. Shirley was living with her former husband, Mr. Houston Myers, better known as Everard. Mr. Myers, I must add, would come to be referred by me as Uncle Everard, something I continue to do to this day, thanks to Presley Myers, his blood relative. It was indeed an immense pleasure to stay at Uncle Everard's home in Peterborough, England. As you can see, Shirley and I paid a visit to the famous Peterborough Cathedral. This cathedral has a realm of history. The famous Catherine of Aragon was laid to rest in this cathedral. She was the former wife of King Henry VIII. King Henry VIII wanted to divorce his wife, Catherine, but he was denied permission to remarry by Pope Clement VII, the pontiff of the Catholic Church in Rome. In 1534, King Henry eventually broke away from the Catholic Church so he could have his way. He did so by pushing an act of supremacy. This gave birth to the Church of England, which is the Anglican Church. King Henry's act of supremacy made him and all his heirs supreme head of the Church of England. This meant that the Pope or the Catholic Church no longer held religious authority in England. To this day, the Anglican Church remains the official or state church of Britain. This overture by the king has been reflected as a sort of a constitutional arrangement that allows for the collaboration and coexistence of church and state, not the separation of both. Queen Elizabeth II heads the Church of England, and thus the church must have been the largest public land holder in Britain. If you live in England today, the land on which your house sits would have no legal title to you. Essentially, the land belongs to the Church of England. Incidentally, it must be noted that Catherine of Aragon died of natural cause after the king divorced her. King Henry VIII married to Anne Boleyn and subsequently had her head chopped off when he has had enough of her. The king remarried to Jane Seymour thereafter. The king executed Anne Boleyn for conspiracy and adultery, among others. Here I am in the cathedral. As you can see, I am standing between two ladies who apparently were either staff or volunteers who were serving as sort of a receptionist. And this was me sitting on a bench in the town square in Peterborough. The town square can be said to be Peterborough's shopping center. During the day, this square is usually close to traffic, so people can walk freely through and shop in the various shops and stores in the area. It was quite a cool environment, I must admit. Here I was headed to the second floor of the main shopping mall located downtown Peterborough. It's the Queen's Gate Shopping Mall. Queen's Gate was a very modern and immaculate shopping center. It had stores like Marks and Spencer's. I believe thousands of shoppers visit there regularly. You could enter Queen's Gate from the main town square and other access points. Yeah, this was me chilling in Queen's Gate Mall again. This time this was on the fourth floor. And you can see that I was sitting next to someone who actually was smoking. During that time, smoking was not illegal or forbidden indoors of public buildings. Trying to get in shape. Here I was, trying to get in shape. Even on vacation while I was at my sister and her family's place in Peterborough. On our trip to London, Shirley and I went to visit Buckingham Palace. As you can see, Buckingham Palace was undergoing repairs. Look at the scaffolds. They're very, very obvious. So I took pictures of the palace, some of which have since been lost or destroyed. These are the ones I managed to retain. As you can see, they range from the ones with me sitting on the concrete base of the palace fence to ones with both Shirley and I taken with the famous background of the roundabout that's around the palace entrance. So Shirley and I had missed the spectacular changing of the guards, an event at Buckingham Palace which is highly recommended tourist attraction. However, we had a substitute. We got to go into the palace's gallery. Yes, we got into Buckingham Palace's gallery. That's the place where the palace kept exhibits for the world to see. It was breathtaking, to say the least. We paid a small fee to enter, and when we got there, I can tell you, most of the people who were there, you can tell that they were Americans. They were so fascinated. Pictures was forbidden. You could not take pictures in the gallery. But this event where we were able to go into the gallery, I think was one of the highlights or one of the pinnacle of our Buckingham Palace experience. History says they might have been stolen goods from the colonies. So after we were finished at the palace, we left and took a stroll around central London, or as you would say, Westminster City. And it was a very, very good experience, gazing at the tall buildings, both modern and ancient, as I would say. Westminster City, central London, was a beautiful scene, very, very beautiful place to just walk around and just be in amazement. At every corner, there's something exciting to see in London. And I was really, really thrilled. I did take pictures while in the heart of London, but unfortunately, some of those pictures, or all of them, most of them have been totally destroyed or lost. I had an accident in the house, and I found out a lot of my pictures from England and other places I've had taken were all destroyed. I was really, really heartbroken. I just didn't get around to have my pictures digitized. I was really heartbroken. This happened only last year when I was looking for my pictures. I found that they were immersed in water. Oh my heavens! That was the worst thing one can feel, the worst feeling you can have when the things that you've worked for all these years and saved them, water or something has destroyed them. This was Shirley feeding her face. It was time to eat as we were headed to the subway station. We sat for a while and ate some fast foods that we bought at a restaurant in the underground. Our subway ride from central London was completed, and we were transitioning, I think, at this point, where we were going to board the bus. We were headed to East London to visit our Auntie Estelle and her family, where we would spend the weekend. I can't remember her name, but this lovely little girl is Auntie Estelle's granddaughter. Here I was, wrapping myself around with family. I loved my stay at Auntie Estelle's home. Indeed, it was such a wonderful time that I returned for another weekend, which was the last weekend I spent in Britain. So after 30 years, this little girl would be a grown woman. And if I were to meet her up at some place, I swear I may not be able to recognize her because people change as they grow. On the last Sunday I would spend in the United Kingdom, Auntie Estelle would bring me to a London bus station as I was headed back to Peterborough to meet Shirley and Uncle Edvard. As you can see, I almost lost this picture. Luckily, I managed to retain what was left of it. My Auntie Estelle, I would say, is a darling. Equally, all of her children were very, very nice and hospitable to me. I love all of them, every one of them. Thank you, guys. Family. If you wanted to stretch your money, you might have entered into the store in the heart of Peterborough. The backdrop is a street scene in Peterborough. This is a copy of my passport picture 30 years ago. That was September of 1992. Here you can see where my passport was stamped when I entered the United Kingdom at Heathrow International Airport. The immigration officer gave me leave to enter the United Kingdom for 6 months. I stayed in Britain 1 month according to my vacation plan. Here is a better view of my passport picture. Much clearer, much legible, much better. 30 years ago.
Here I am on the grounds of Arcadia University. Here is where I graduated with a master's degree in education in 2005. And this is a place where my degree was awarded on this very grounds. Now, what does it have to do with my trip to England? Absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. Absolutely nothing. But because I had to take pictures for my graduation, I kept the camera. I also kept the SD card. And so as I was going through my SD card, looking at my past graduation pictures, I accidentally stumbled on the picture that I copied on my SD card with Shirley and I in front of the Peterborough Cathedral. And as I told you in a previous video, that Shirley and I visited the Peterborough Cathedral, and that SD card actually triggered my going back to Britain 30 years ago. And that's the reason why I'm on this grounds, Arcadia University. Because by a mere accident, just a mere accident, I was able to retrace my steps 30 years ago on my visit to Britain 30 years ago. And I was happy to have done that because I thought it was a memorable experience when I went to Britain and met with my sister Shirley and her husband, Uncle Edward, which was a wonderful experience, and a family, Presley Myers, Belma, all the people who were involved in my trip made my trip and my stay in Peterborough very successful. I'm very, very gratified. I want to thank you so much. So one little accident can really make a difference. And I just want to thank you guys. I want to thank Paul. You took me down to Cambridge. I loved that little experience, and I really appreciated that. I want to thank Auntie Estelle for bringing me to London and bringing me back, and all the children that were all of her children that were very nice to me. So one little accident just helped me to put things in perspective, and I just want to thank you guys. Thank you so much. And as regard Peterborough Cathedral, that has to do with the Anglican Church. I just want to say to you guys that the church has had a really, 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 really terrible history. It's only in 2006 the General Synod of the Church of England apologized for slavery. That is a typical idea of what psychologists speak about. Cognitive dissonance is to hold two contradictory beliefs, values, and actions at the same time. the church was deeply involved in slavery. Now, I just want to say something to you guys. You can't be an oppressor and a savior at the same time. If the church was involved in slavery and want to say to us today that while it was involved in slavery, members of the clergy were involved in its abolition, that is cognitive dissonance. And it is also, in my view, comical. So I'm here at Arcadia University just to show you guys this is the grounds that caused me to go back 30 years ago. And it was really good to see you guys in Britain. I want you to have a good day, have a good time, enjoy yourself. Big up to Uncle Edward, big up to Presley Myers, Belma. Thank you, Shirley. And thank you, every one of you, for making my stay in Britain a very, very, very meaningful, purposeful, and enjoyable one. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is a place where I got my higher education, my graduate degree. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. You can see the castle at the back up there. This is one of the features of this university that many people come to see. It's a beautiful, beautiful sight. Thank you guys. So with regard to my visit in Britain 30 years ago, I just don't want to leave out someone. The person who really helped me to get to Britain, I just don't want to leave out. I want to say big up to Sylvie Roberts. Sylvie Roberts was the one who was really the one who made me, convince me that I really need to go to England. Sylvie Roberts, big up to you. I don't want to forget you. You were the one who insisted that I went to England and see my sister. In fact, I didn't even plan to go. It was you, Sylvie. Thank you, girl. Thank you, Sylvie, Ms. Roberts. All the best to you. I haven't forgotten you. I really haven't forgotten you. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Lillian Bowman, for making my trip to Britain possible 30 years ago. Thank you, Miss Roberts and Miss Bowman. Thank you very much. I have not forgotten you. Thank you. As you can see, this is the main entrance to the university, the Arcadia University's main entrance. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Bowman. Thank you, Miss Roberts, for making my trip possible to Britain. Thank you. Once more, I must say thank you, Miss Roberts, and thank you, Miss Bowman, for making my trip possible, and bye. Wait a minute, don't go just yet. One little piece I have to share. This was me in 2005, graduating with a Master of Science degree in education on these grounds of Arcadia University. Enjoy, y'all. Yes, enjoy for the last time. And this time, I really mean it. Bye, and I hope you did enjoy this video. Thank you for watching, all my fans, subscribers, friends, supporters, well-wishers, viewers. Thank you for watching. Give me a little bit of feedback. I love to have them. Thank you again. This is your boy Hewitt. Thank you, and bye-bye.